Roads. Flood. Flood. Roads. Cadet. One to roads. Upat. Upat ang roads. 5. 5 ka roads. Drainage. Flood control. Duha. Program widening permanent bridges. Aliwanay. Okay. Then multipurpose building. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Philippines. Welcome to Cebu 3rd DEO base in Toledo City. As scheduled, this afternoon we have the pre-bidding conference scheduled January 21, 2025 for civil works. But before we proceed, please arise for a prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Okay, so thank you. And back here in Cebu 3rd DEOs again. Before I start, allow me to reiterate or introduce our bid and awards committee for Cebu 3rd for year 2024-2025. So yours truly is the back chair, and likewise the assistant D, Engineer Reynaldo Navales. On my left side here is a member of the back, rather vice chair of our BAC, and the chief of the maintenance section, Engineer Lisel Amameo. While on my right hand is the chief of the construction section, Engineer Dali Almirol. And on her left side is the chief of planning and design section. We have Engineer Pichi Ortega, while on the left side or the right side of Engineer Pichi Ortega is an engineer from the planning and design section, Engineer Alpi Laspunia. And we have also the staff or the members from the PDS, Engineer Nolan, Engineer Henry, and of course, Engineer uh, Joshua, Joshua Labrador, who will be with us to assist us in the explanation, a discussion of the different projects that we are going to tackle this afternoon. So this afternoon, we have 9 projects which will be discussed under the 001 outcome 001, which is the first we have contract ID 25HF0008, the road system bridge programming widening of permanent bridges, Aliwanay Bridge along Toledo, Tabuelan, San Remio Road. Location of the contract is Barangay Aliwanay, and the contract duration is 175 calendar days. Approved budget of the contract for this project is 32,300,000. The second, we have contract ID 25H F0014, which is the 001 or Organizational Outcome to protect lives and properties against major flood control management program construction and maintenance of flood mitigation structures and drainage system, construction of flood control at Tag-Amakan, CIS, Asturias, Cebu. Location is Tag-Amakan, Asturias, Cebu. The contract duration is 125 calendar days, and the approved budget of the contract is 14,700,000 pesos or 700,000 pesos. For the third, we have 25H contract ID 25HF0044. Contract name is the flood mitigation structure and drainage system construction of flood control structure at RP Pili Buanoy, CIS, Balamban, Cebu. The contract duration is 125 calendar days, while the approved budget of the contract is 14,700,000 pesos. For the next, we have contract ID 25HF0046. This is about the access roads or bridges from National Road leading to major strategic public building facilities, construction of road at Barangay Cantuod, Balamban, Cebu. Contract duration is 46 calendar days, and the approved budget of the contract is 4,950,000. For the next, we have 25HF0048. This is about the construction of road at Sitio Surun, Barangay Hingatmunan, Balamban, Cebu, with a contract duration of 46 calendar days, while the approved budget of the contract is 4,950,000 pesos. For the next, we have 25 contract ID 25HF0049, and this is about the rehabilitation of multi-purpose building at Barangay Mayana, Barili, Cebu, with a contract duration of 90 calendar days, and its approved budget of contract is 4,950,000. For the next, we have contract ID 25HF0076, and this is about the construction of road at Barangay San Juan, Tuburan, Cebu, with a contract duration of 202 calendar days, and the approved budget of the contract is 49 million pesos. For the second to the last, we have contract ID 25HF0077, and this is about the construction of road Barangay Manga to Barangay Kabangkalan, Tuburan, Cebu, with a contract duration of 138 calendar days, and the approved budget of the contract is 49 million pesos. And the last but not the least is contract ID 25HF0048, and this is about the construction of road Barangay Makupa to Barangay Lusong, Tuburan, Cebu. Contract duration is 138 calendar days, while the approved budget of the contract is 49 million pesos only. So we have a total of the projects to be bid out in the amount of 223,550,000 pesos. And so without much ado, we would like to call on the planning and design section first to tackle the 25H008. So we have here bridge, one flood mitigation structure, and two mitigation structure projects. And we have roads, five road construction, and one rehabilitation of multi-purpose buildings. So we will just categorize, and since they are similar, no, scope of work. So we tackle first the Aliwanay Bridge, no, the program widening of permanent bridges, Aliwanay Bridge. So shall we call on the planning and design, headed by Engineer Pritzi Ortega. You may have the floor now. The floor.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I will discuss the widening of permanent bridges, Aliwanay Bridge B00677CB along Toledo, Taboylan, San Remigio Road. The location of the contract is in Barangay Aliwanay, Balamban, Cebu. The total project duration is 175 calendar days. So the length of the bridge is 20 meters. I will now discuss the items of work involved in the project. First, we have the facilities for the engineer. It is composed of the provision of field office for the engineer rental basis and operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer. Next, we have other general requirements. It is composed of first, miscellaneous survey and staking. Next, project billboard or signboard, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization or demobilization, and last item is the removal and relocation of utilities. Next part is the earthworks. First, we have the removal of structures and obstruction. Next, the removal of actual structures slash obstruction, 0.20 meters thick PCCP and reinforced. We also have removal of actual structure slash obstruction, 0.23 meters thick PCCP and reinforced. We also have removal of structures and obstruction concrete. This is for our existing canal and existing abutment of the old bridge. Next, we have unsuitable excavation. This is for the excavation works near the waterway of the river. We have surplus common excavation. Next, the bridge structure excavation common soil. Next, the embankment from roadway or structure excavation. And last is the subgrade preparation common material. Next part is the subbase and base course. We have the aggregate subbase course. Next part is the surface courses. We have Portland cement concrete pavement and reinforced 0.23 meters thick 14 days. And Portland cement concrete pavement and reinforced 0.28 meters thick 14 days. Next part is for our bridge construction. First, we have the concrete piles cast in drilled holes, 1.5 meter diameter. This is for our board pile. We have pile integrity testing, low strain, high strain dynamic testing, PDA. Next, the concrete railing standard. We also have reinforcing steel grade 40 and reinforcing steel grade 60. Next item is the structural concrete 27.58 MPa class A 28 days. Structural concrete painting works. For our girders, we have pre-stressed structural concrete members type 3I girder. We also have lean concrete class B 16.5 MPa. We have forms and false works. And last item for this part is the elastomeric bridge bearings. Next part is the drainage and slope protection structures. We have grouted riprap class A, stone masonry, and drain pipe galvanized. For our miscellaneous structures, we have reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings white, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings yellow, and we also have directional signages and regulatory signages. That would be all for the widening of Aliwanay Bridge along Toledo, Taboylan, San Remigio Road.
Okay, thank you, uh, Joshua. And we move now to the next one. We have the uh, for 25HF0014, these are all flood mitigation structure, and 25HF0044. So we start with 25HF0014. Okay, kindly proceed. We will explain this or discuss. We have Engineer Henry to discuss this project.
Good afternoon. For 25HF0014, OO2 protect lives and properties against major floods, flood management program, construction maintenance of flood mitigation structures and drainage systems, construction of flood control structure, Tagamacan CIS, Astoria, Cebu. The location of the contract is at Barangay Tagamacan, Astoria, Cebu, with a contract duration of 125 calendar days and approved budget of the contract of 14.7 million pesos. The project has a net length of 124 linear meter. For for the works to be done, we have part A, facilities for the engineer, provision of field office for the engineer that's on rental basis. For part B, other general requirements, project billboard signboard, occupational safety and health program in lump sum, mobilization and demobilization. Part H, miscellaneous structures, trees, furnishing, and transplanting. For Part L, flood and river control and drainage. Part LA, earthwork, we have clearing and grabbing, individual removal of trees, 150 mm to 300 mm diameter, unsuitable excavation, structure excavation common soil, and lastly, embankment from roadway structure excavation. For Part LB, bank and slope protection structures. For the major structure, concrete slope protection and sheet piles steel slope protection. So that would be all for the 25HF0014.
Okay, proceed with 25HF0044.
For 25HF0044, OO2 protect lives and properties against major floods, flood mitigation program, construction maintenance of flood mitigation structures and drainage systems, construction of flood control structures, Apili Buanoy CIS, Balamban, Cebu. The location of the contract is at Balamban, Cebu, with a net length of 331 linear meters and approved budget of the contract of 14.7 million pesos. The project has two alignments. For the right riverbank, we have station 0+00 to 0+166, that is 166 meters. For left riverbank, station 0+00 to station 0+165, that is 165 linear meters. Works to be done include Part A, provision of field office for the engineer, rental basis. For Part B, other general requirements, permits and clearances. This is for the CNC application fee. Project billboard signboard, occupational safety and health program in lump sum, mobilization, demobilization also in lump sum. For Part H, miscellaneous structures, trees, furnishing, and transplanting. For Part L, flood and river control and drainage. Part LA, earthwork, clearing and grabbing in lump sum. Individual removal of trees, 150 mm to 300 mm diameter. Surplus common excavation, structure excavation common soil, and embankment from roadway or structure excavation. For the main structure, part LB bank and slope protection works, we have concrete slope protection. And for lastly, for scar protection, gabions 1 meter by 1 meter by 2 meter metallic coated. So that would be all for the 25 HF 0044.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Henry, for the discussion. And we now move on to the road construction. We start first with 25H F0046. Okay, you proceed now. So we have Engineer Norlan or Nolan. Okay, kindly proceed.
So good day. So I'm here to discuss contract ID 25HF0046 with a project title Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program BIP, access roads and bridges from the national roads leading to major or strategic public buildings, facilities, construction of road, Barangay Cantuod, Balamban, Cebu, with the location at Barangay Cantuod, Balamban, Cebu, with station limits Station 0 plus 740 to Station 1 plus 362 with a project length 0.622 kilometers or 1.244 lane kilometer. So the scope of works is this project is road concreting with a carriageway with 4 meters. Then ang shouldering is not none. Then ang atong subbase is 0.2 meter thickness ang atong subbase course. So for the part A, facilities for the engineers, so the item involved is A118, provision of field office for the engineer, rental basis, months. For the next part, part B, other general requirements. First item is B5, project billboard and signboard, which will be located at the beginning and the end of the project. Next is B7, occupational safety and health program. Next, B8 for the traffic management and B9 for mobilization and demobilization. So for the next part, part C, the earthworks. First item is item 1022, surplus common excavation in cubic meters. The next part is next item is 1041A, embankment from roadway and structure excavation, common soil. Next is item 1051A, subgrade preparation, common material. For the next part, part D, subbase and base course. Item 201, aggregate subbase course. So, which will be used as subbase in our carriageway. Then next is part A, surface courses. This is the main item of this project. Item 311B1, Portland cement concrete pavement unreinforced 0.2 meters thickness, 14 days in square meters. For the last part, part H, miscellaneous structures. Item 6121, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement marking whites, square meters throughout the length in edges and center line. Next is item 6122, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement marking silo, which will be used in our vertical or horizontal curve of the project. So that would be all for this project.
Okay, that's for 0046. So proceed now to 0048.
So for the project, so for the contract ID 25 HF0048 for the project title Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program BIP, Construction of Road, Sitio Soron, Barangay Hingatmunan, Balamban, Cebu. With a project length 0.512 kilometers or 1.024 lane kilometer. This project has three sections. So section 1 is station 7 plus 400 to station 7 plus 478.5. Then section 2, station 7 plus 787.5 to station 7 plus 737. And section 3, station 7 plus 846 to station 8 plus 130. So the scope of works is a project is there's a proposed PCCP carriageway 4 meters ang width, then 0.2 meters ang thickness with sub-base course 0.2 meters thickness. Then there's no shouldering both sides. Then there's a removal of existing cross drainage which is 0.61 RCPC diameters ang existing dito which will be removed and replaced. Then let's proceed to the part A. So part A, facilities for the engineers. Item 118, provision of field office for the engineer rental basis. Then next part B, other general requirements. B3, permits and clearances. This is for the DNR requirements. Then B5, project billboard, signboard, which will be used, which will be put in the beginning and the end of the project. Next is B7-1, occupational safety and health program. And B8 for the traffic management. And B9 for mobilization and demobilization. So for the next part C, earthworks. Item 1011, removal of structures and obstructions, which will be used in removal of the head wall of the existing cross drainage. Next is item 1013B2, removal of actual structures obstruction 0.2 meter thickness PCCP, which is shall be used in the portion of the project that there is an existing PCCP which will kanang mga damage dito. Then next item 1014A1, removal of actual structure obstruction 610 mm diameters RCPC. The next item 1022, surplus common excavation in cubic meters. Then next item is item 1041A, embankment from roadway structure excavation common soil. Next item is item 1051A, subgrade preparation common material. So for the part D, sub-base and base course, item 201, aggregate sub-base course for the carriageway. Then the next part A, surface courses. The main item of this project, item 311B1, Portland cement concrete pavement and reinforced 0.2 meter thickness, 14 days in square meters. Then next part G, drainage and slope protection structures. So item 501B, pipe culvert class 2 RCPC, which will be used for the proposal of our cross drainage. Next is item 5023A3, catch basin 910 mm diameter. So it's the same. Then next is item 506-1, stone masonry, which will be used also in cross drainage as head wall. So for the last part A, miscellaneous structures. Item 61221, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement marking whites all throughout the length for the edge and center line of the road. Next is item 6122, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings yellow, which will be used in the vertical and horizontal curves of the project. So that would be all. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it for the road construction along the within Balamban, no? All of Balamban. We go now to the next three. We skipped 0049. We'll discuss that later, the last part. So for projects in Tuburan, no? These are all road construction. So we have for 0076, road construction of road at San Juan, Tuburan, Cebu, for 0077 is a construction of road at Mangat, Tuburan, Barangay Kabangkalan, Tuburan. And the last is 25-80078 for road construction at Makupa, no? Makupa to Barangay Lusong, Tuburan, Cebu. So please proceed with the discussion of these three projects. All are in Tuburan, and this is about road construction. 076, 077, and 078. Okay, kindly proceed.
So thank you. So I'm here to discuss again for the project for contract ID 25HF 0076 with the project title Convergence and Special Support Program Sustainable Infrastructure Project Alleviating Gaps, SIPAG, access roads and or bridges from national roads leading to major or strategic public buildings, facilities. Construction of road Barangay San Juan, Tuburan, Cebu. With the location of the contract Barangay San Juan, Tuburan, Cebu with a project duration 202 calendar days. With a project length 2.86 kilometers or 5.72 lane kilometers. So this project composed of three sections. For the first section, section 1, station 0 plus 450 to station 0 plus 825. Next section is section 2, station 0 plus 890 to station 2 plus 289. And section 3, station 2 plus 302 to station 3 plus 388. So the scope of works of this project has proposal of PCCP, which is 5 meters width and 0.2 meters thickness. Then, and there's an removal of existing cross drainage there. Then there's a proposal of bridge. Dayon. For the correction dahil, so ang PCCP na proposal is 0.23 meter thickness. Then there's no shouldering. Then ang sub-base is 0.2 meter thickness. So let's proceed for the item involved. So for the part A, facilities for the engineer. Item A118, provision of field office for the engineer rental basis. Item A11816, operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer, which in months. For part B, other general requirements. B3, permits and clearances for the inner requirements. B5, project billboard signboard, which will be used at the beginning and the end of the project. So, kanina there's a 3 section of this project. So, every section naagay gibutang billboard, 1 in section 1, 1 in section 2, and 1 in the section 3 for the COA, and also in DPWH nga tong signboard. The next is B71, occupational safety health program. Next is B8, traffic management. And B9 is mobilization and demobilization. For the next part, part C, earthworks. So item 103A1, individual removal of trees, 150, so 300 meters small. Next is item 1013B2, removal of actual structure obstruction, 0.2 meter thickness, PCCP, and reinforced, which will be used in removing of the existing damaged pavement in the project. Next is item 1022, surplus common excavation in cubic meters. Next is item 103A1 for structure excavation common soil. Next is item 1041A, embankment from roadway structure excavation common soil. Next is 1051A, subgrade preparation common material. So for the part D, sub-base and base course, item 201, aggregate sub-base course, which will be used in the carriageway. Next is Part A, surface courses. Item 311C1, Portland Cement Concrete Pavement, unenforced, 0.23 meter thickness, 14 days, which is the main item of this project. Next is for Part F, bridge construction. First item 1011, removal of structure and obstruction, which will be used in removing of the mga head wall dito sa existing cross drainage. Next is item 103 to A1, bridge structure excavation common soil. Next is item 404A2, pre-concrete piles furnished 450 by 450 millimeters. Next is item 414, pre-concrete piles driven. Next, item 416B, test pile furnished and driven, 450 by 450 mm. Next is item 401, 2A, concrete railing standard. Next is item 4041A, reinforcing steel grade 40. Next is item 4041B, reinforcing steel grade 60. Next is item 405, 1B3, structural concrete, 27.58 megapascal, class A, 28 days. Next is item 4056, structural concrete painting works. Next is item 478, lane concrete, class B, 16.5 megapascal. Next is item 4141, formworks and false works. And next is 517 1A, drain pipe galvanized. So these items shall be used in constructing our bridge for this project. For the next part, part G, drainage and slope protection structures. Item 501B, pipe culvert class 2 RCPC. Next is item 503G, line canal stone masonry, which will be used sa atong propose sa atong canal of the site. Next is item 502 3A3, catch basin, 910 mm diameter, which will be used in proposal of our cross drainage. Then next item is 506 1, stone masonry. So for the last part, part H, miscellaneous structures. Item 6111, trees furnishing and transplanting. Next is item 61221, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement marking whites, which will be used all throughout the length for the edge and center line of the road. Next is item 6122, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings yellow, which will be used in horizontal and vertical curve of the project. So that would be all. Thank you.
Okay, so that would be all for the road construction. And we go now to the last category. We have the rehabilitation of multipurpose building at Barangay Mayana, Tabarili, Cebu. This is contract ID 25HF0049. So kindly planning, proceed with the discussion.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will now discuss the rehabilitation of multipurpose building, Barangay Mayana, Barili, Cebu. The location is in Barangay Mayana, Barili, Cebu, and the total project duration is 90 calendar days. So this is for the repair of covered court in Mayana, which was affected by the Typhoon Odette. The items of work involved in the project. First part, we have the facilities for the engineer. It is composed of the provision of field office for the engineer, rental basis, and operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer. Next part is the other general requirements. First, we have the permits and clearances, the project billboard slash signboard, one COA billboard and one DPWH billboard. Next, the occupational safety and health. And last item is mobilization slash demobilization. Next part is the earthworks. First item is the removal of structures and obstruction. Next, the structure excavation common soil, embankment from structure excavation common soil, and gravel fill. Next part is the plain and reinforced concrete works. First, the structural concrete class A, 28 days. Structural concrete class B, 28 days. We also have reinforcing steel deformed grade 40 and formworks and false works. Next part is the finishing and other civil works. First, we have the storm drainage and downspout, the fascia board 19 mm fiber cement board, the fabricated metal roofing accessory flashings gauge 26, fabricated metal roofing accessory gutter gauge 24. For our roofing, we have pre-painted metal sheets above 0.427 mm corrugated type long span. We have painting works for our steel structures. For our wall, we have CHB non-load bearing including reinforcing steel 150 mm thick. We also have metal structures, the metal structure accessories, turnbuckle, sagrads, cross bracing, and steel plate. For our structural steel, we have structural steel trusses and structural steel purlins. And last part is the electrical works. First, the conduits, boxes, and fittings. This is for our conduit works and conduit wrapping ins. Next, the wires and wiring devices. We also have panel board with main and branch breakers. And last is the lighting fixtures. That would be all for the repair, rehabilitation of multipurpose building, Barangay Mayana, Barili, Cebu.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Joshua, Nolan, and Henry for the discussion. So we now proceed for the construction proper or the implementation. And we give the floor to the chief of the construction section who will be discussing about implementation and some related department orders and policies of DPWH. Okay, Engineer Dali. Okay. Oh, sige na. Kana. Sila? Okay, okay. Are, ano?
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. So firstly, I would like to discuss the major category of work um, for the following projects that is going to be scheduled for opening of bids this coming February 3, 2025. For contract ID 25HF0008, the major category of work is bridges, rehabilitation, concrete, superstructures with driven piles. For contract ID 25HF0014 and 25HF0044, the major category of work is flood control, construction, slow protection using structural measures, example revetment, retaining structures, and wire net. For contract ID 25HF46, 48, 76, 77, 78. The major category of work is road construction PCCP. For contract ID 25HF0049, the major category of work is buildings repair. Nextly, I would like to share, to discuss regarding Department Order number 241 series of 2024. This is the guidelines on the processing, approval, and reporting system of construction safety and health program for DPWH projects. The DPWH Implementing Office shall ensure that all the documentary requirements, provisions, and institutions pertaining to the implementation of CSHP in compliance with the Republic Act or RA number 11058 and its implementing rules and regulations, and other related issuances by the DPWH and the DOLE are included in the project bidding documents, particularly under the specification and instructions to bidders, and shall be discussed during the pre-bid conferences. In the issuance of the notice of award, the head of the DPWH implementing office shall require the winning bidder to submit the approved CSHP using the template recommended by DOLE as a guide. The submission for approval of CSHP shall include the application form for the evaluation, processing, and other supporting documents as per DOLE's latest issued format and checklist required in the application of CSHP. The DPWH-IO shall only receive CSHP applications with complete documents. So any incomplete application shall not be received specifying the lacking documents. The DPWH approved CSHP is a requirement for the processing and approval of the contract agreement. So moreover, no claims by the contractor, that is the advance payment, first progress billing, shall be processed and paid without the submission of DPWH approved CSHP. The DPWH will only approve the Construction Safety and Health Program through a form prescribed by the DOLE if found in order. So DPWH projects shall not be implemented without the approved Construction Safety and Health Program by the head of the DPWH implementing office. So this is a reminder to all the participating bidders that who will win this coming February 3, 2025 on your submissions upon issuance of notice of award on your submissions of your construction safety and health program that is for approval by the DPWH. That's all from the construction section. Good afternoon.
Hello, hello. Okay, thank you, Engineer Dali Almirol, for the discussion about the construction implementation. So before we proceed, I would like to ask the Chief of the Planning if you have something to add. Engineer Pritzi. No more for the Chief of the Maintenance. You have something to add?
Okay, good afternoon. It is a shortly reminder, especially during our meeting conference on February 3. For those who are participating bidders, please be reminded that you have to strictly state that the 120 calendar days with our bid securing declaration, which is part of our bid security. So please don't forget, because I think that is more important, and this is also ground for you to an outright disqualification during the bidding. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Engineer Amameo from the Maintenance Section, Chief. So, do we have any, you know? Okay, so we just have this on record, and maybe after this discussion or the live streamings, there will be somebody who will see this, view this online discussion of the pre-bidding conference. So since there are no questions and everything was already discussed, so in behalf of our DE, yours truly, Engineer Navales, Chair of the BAC for this year, 2025, and my term will end March, or rather April 2025, no? So we started last year, April, so one term is only 1 year. So we have still about 2 months. I have still my term 2 months, so we proceed. So until here, I'd like to thank everybody who is in this room and those who are viewing later. Thank you for so much, and we see you on February 3 for the bidding conference for the projects being discussed this afternoon. Thank you so much. Good afternoon and God bless us all. Time check now is exactly 3:25.